Good day, everyone. Time now for weather news with J7409. The name you know, the news you can use. Also, tropical update. I'm going to include that in this forecast also. And first and foremost, my prayers and thoughts are with everybody down in Florida and Georgia and Alabama and all those places where Hurricane Michael came in yesterday and moved up into. Very, very powerful storm. 1 mile per hour from being a Category 5 hurricane. Never before in history has a hurricane of this size hit the panhandle of Florida. If it's your first time over here, please subscribe, click the bell, check off the email notifications, make sure you get all the latest in weather news, forecast, watches, warnings, and tropical weather. Now, today, South Carolina and North Carolina, and tomorrow, Eastern Virginia, around Norfolk, Virginia Beach area, will be getting Tropical Storm Michael. I will have a brief rundown of what each of you can expect in different areas, so stay tuned for all of that. As of right now, of course, this is the GFS map, courtesy of Tropical Tidbits. Let's see what's happening around the entire U.S. We'll turn it on, and here we go. Of course, Tropical Storm Michael is going to continue to bring dangerous conditions as it tracks through the Carolinas and into southeastern Virginia today. Intense rainfall rates combined with wet conditions has led to the issue of a high risk of excessive rainfall and flash flooding for much of North Carolina into southern Virginia. Now, 3 to 6 inches of rain with isolated maximum amounts of 8 inches are expected in these areas, with tropical storm force winds are of course still a threat also, and it's looking like one of our biggest threats besides wind gusts is going to be tornadoes. Isolated tornadoes are possible in eastern Carolinas for South Carolina and North Carolina and southeastern Virginia today. So please keep your eyes on your skies for that. Now, that's a big threat, tornadoes today for all of these areas. Now, to the west of Tropical Storm Michael, a cold front. It's going to move eastward through the Appalachians for today and clearing the eastern seaboard by tomorrow as tropical moisture streams ahead of the front. Heavy rainfalls possible, that's right. Today, north of Michael itself, slight to moderate risk of flooding or in places along the mid-Atlantic and southern New England coast. So if you're in the New England area, you do have that chance of some rain that's going to be popping off from Michael as it moves, some of the rain bands as it moves further northward. So you do have a chance of flash flooding in places, okay? Now, behind the cold front, the eastern U.S. will finally see fall-like temperatures for the end of the week. And we've got an upper level trough in the western U.S. and another surface front. It's going to help support snowfall formation for the central Rockies today, with 6 to 10 inches possible in the highest elevations. Some light snowfalls possible in the central plains and middle Mississippi Valley by tomorrow morning, with cooler than normal temperatures there. In fact, high temperatures in the northern and central plains and upper Mississippi Valley are forecast to be about 15 to 25 degrees below average today, and widespread freeze warnings are in effect for the cold mornings. By tomorrow night and Saturday, snow is possible in the northern Rockies and northern plains as this low pressure system approaches. Now, per the National Hurricane Center, Tropical Storm Sergio is forecast to move eastward and make landfall in Baja California sometime tomorrow morning. Now, moisture streaming ahead of Sergio is going to cause rainfall to begin in the southwest of the United States by tomorrow, and Sergio continues moving northeast, spreading into the southern plains. So, That's what's happening around the U.S. today. Now let's go check out Tropical Storm Michael. Before we get into too much detail, we'll come up here this morning and see that Tropical Storm Michael's winds now are 50 miles per hour and the minimum central pressure 983 millibars. If you're tracking Michael, 33.5 north, 82.5 west, it's moving northeast around 21 miles per hour, picked up much speed, moving on out. Now, when we come over to Leslie, Leslie's got 80-mile-per-hour wind. She is a Category 1 hurricane. Her pressure is 978 millibars, located 28.4 north, 40.1 west, and Leslie's moving east, northeast now at 10 miles per hour. Yesterday she was moving south, remember? Here we go with Nadine, Tropical Storm Nadine. Her winds are 65 miles per hour. Her pressure is 997 millibars. She's located 14.1 north, 33.3 west, and she's moving northwest at about 8 miles per hour. Here's a look at the tracking map from the National Hurricane Center for Nadine. This is for Nadine. If you remember a few days ago when Nadine happened, she was a tropical storm forming really fast, and it formed into a tropical storm fast. Remember, I told you it wasn't going to last. Well, by 2 a.m. Saturday, it should be a depression. So that's what the map is looking like for Tropical Storm Nadine at this time. For Tropical Storm Sergio, Sergio's right around in this area earlier this morning around 2 a.m. Tropical storm warnings are up, and this is a tropical storm watch. It should come across Mexico, turn into a depression while still in Mexico, but it will be bringing rain to areas of New Mexico, Texas, and Oklahoma. By the time it gets to Oklahoma, it will be a very low depression system. Now, during the overnight hours, Tropical Storm Michael moved and nudged a little bit more westerly, okay? Right now, early this morning, still a very large swath of rain and tropical storm winds, and anywhere this storm goes, I can't stress enough, there is the potential for tornadoes. This was a very bad storm, and all the conditions are ripe for tornadoes to make up, besides the wind and the rain that Michael may bring to your area. So it's looking like it's getting right to cross over into South Carolina this morning. Still in Georgia right now. Looks like Augusta, Savannah, all these areas, wherever you see this green, they're getting rain. Charleston, well, Charleston might not be getting any. It's a little to the east of this line, but it still may be getting some wind and some rain from Tropical Storm Michael. As you can see, as it's moving on through, everybody in South Carolina do get right, because sooner or later, Charleston, North Charleston, Mount Pleasant, Columbia, all you guys are going to be getting rain. Might even get some bands and rain up in the Greenville, South Carolina area. As we move on through, we see then next, of course, my state, North Carolina. I'm not in the path anymore. How about that? It's to the west of me. However, I am still forecast to get some rain and some gust of wind, but not what they have been forecasting all along. Should be a little bit lower. Now, around the Outer Banks, I'm going to include you guys too, but we are all still from Wilmington right on up to Duck, North Carolina, under a tropical storm warning. Now, if you're in the Raleigh, Durham area, you're going to get some wind, you're going to get some rain, but this is tropical storm wind, people. And your gusts may be kind of high at times, say anywhere from 30 to 50, maybe 60 miles per hour. But that's just the gust. The sustained wind should remain in the 20s, teens, possibly lower 30s up in this area. And that goes for Rocky Mount and Wilson also. Then, of course, it's going up right in between where you see the line, Virginia Beach and Norfolk. You guys will get some heavy rain and some wind also. So let's go check out some of these numbers. But before I do, right up in this area, everybody up in this area and all the way up as the storm keeps moving, everybody probably will get a little bit of rain in the New England area. So if you get a gust of wind or you get some rain, it's from Tropical Storm Michael, but you do not have anything to worry about with a big storm. But I wanted to make that clear. You could get some rain and wind, but it's nothing that's going to cause a big storm. Now, if the track does not change again, but it did change overnight, and you know how these things are, any of this stuff can change at any time. So don't jot any of this down in stone, but this is what it's looking like for this morning for different areas around. Okay, here is Friday the 12th. This is today. This is for Norfolk, Virginia, and Virginia Beach areas. You guys, sustained wind should remain in the teens up until around 7 p.m. tonight. Then they're going to pick up, be in the 20s and 30s. You will have gusts of maybe 53 degrees. This is looking like around 1 a.m. in the morning. Then the gusts will remain with you as your winds drop back down into the teens, okay? You do have a chance of some good rain coming your way, as you can see right here. You got a chance of probably getting at least 2 to 3 inches of rain from the beginning to the start before it's all over, with a chance of thunder and tornadoes. Jacksonville, North Carolina, since the track's changed, it's not as much wind as it was, okay? Your wind should be your highest time in the 20s. I would give it a gander at maybe a gust of 30 once in a while, but the wind not as bad as it could have been, but you do have a lot of rain, especially between 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock tonight. Lots and lots of rain. You got rain throughout the day and tomorrow morning, but that's your greatest chance of rain right up in here. I'd say between 2 o'clock this afternoon up until around 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, and you will have that chance of hearing much thunder, and you do have that possibility of tornadoes, so be aware of that. For Ocracoke, North Carolina, my island, I love you guys. Hope everybody's doing well down there. Yes, you got a chance of some gusty winds right along and all day long. Your winds are going to be in the 20s and tonight in the 30s for the most part. That's sustained winds. You are going to have gusts of 39, 43, 47, 45, 46, 43 of that nature, okay? Nothing that you guys can't handle. I know you guys, okay? Now, it's like rain, you'll have rain off and on. Through this morning, the hardest of your rain should be starting around 4 or 5 this afternoon, lasting till around 10 or 11 tonight. I always like to give it that extra hour, and you should get probably an inch or two of rain and some storm surge, but not bad storm surge. Got a little bit of chance of some thunder in here. You do have a chance of tornadoes also, so please be aware of that. For Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, my old stomping ground, well, you're going to have some sustained winds that we're used to, okay? They're going to be in the teens for the biggest part starting out today. Then should go up to the 30 area, 31 to 39 for sustained winds later this evening with some gusts of 40 to 46. Now, you do have that chance of rain, and when the wind should pick up and get a little gusty, should be around 5 or 6 this afternoon, and it should last through till around, I'd say, 3 or 4 in the morning with the gust of winds. Here's the greatest chance of rain. between 8 and 1 a.m. Of course, we'll have rain off and on all day. You have that chance of thunder also, and a great chance of tornadoes. So please keep your eyes out for those. Now for Wilson, North Carolina. Remember I said the track had moved west of me? Well, you're going to get higher wind gusts than I am right now, it's looking like. Your wind should be a little breezy for you, a little more than you're used to, but no big deal, nothing that you can't handle. Should be anywhere from 10 to the 20-degree mark for sustained winds, but you will have gusts coming up that will probably be around 35 degrees. 35 degrees, 35 miles per hour. I've been up a long time tracking all this stuff, folks. Excuse me. But you can see starting around lunchtime today, you're going to start having gusts of around 30 miles per hour. Then they're going to increase as the evening hours approach, right on up until midnight tonight. You should have gusts in the 30s of the wind. Rain, your greatest rain, off and on all day, but the greatest part of the rain is going to be coming into Wilson looking like sometime around lunch and lasting until about 9 p.m. this evening. You guys also have the chance of thunder and a great chance for tornadoes. Please be careful. For Raleigh, North Carolina, this is what it's looking like for my friends all around the capital. Here we go. You're going to have 10 to 20 degree sustained winds, miles per hour. I did it again. Mile per hour winds, sustained winds today, with gusts anywhere in the lower 20 to upper 30s for gust of mile per hour winds. Of course, your greatest rain is going to come around 11 and last until around 8 tonight, with that chance of thunder and tornadoes. Please be aware and be safe. For all my friends down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, this is what you're looking at. Okay, it's a little breezy. Your sustained winds are in the 20s right now. By lunchtime, your sustained wind should be in the 30s, with gust in the 40s. Okay, look, it's looking like maybe the highest gust of wind you may get should be around 44, but never go by these exact numbers for any of these places. You can add 5 or take 5 away at least, okay? But this is a general idea of what it's looking like. Your greatest rains are beginning to happen pretty soon. I'd say around 7 this morning. They're going to last till at least probably around 2 or 3 this afternoon before it's all said and done. You do have a chance of thunder, and you do have a chance of tornadoes. Be aware, keep your eyes on the sky. And for the public advisory from the National Hurricane Center, we'll wrap it up with this. Tropical Storm Michael right now is continuing to weaken over eastern Georgia. Winds increasing along portions of the Georgia and South Carolina coast. Now, changes with this advisory. The storm surge warning is discontinued for the Gulf Coast of Florida. The tropical storm warning is discontinued along the Georgia and Florida coast south of Altamaha Sound. I know I said that wrong. I'm sorry, okay? Now, the summary of the watches and warnings, the important stuff, and in fact, right now that's going to be happening, is Storm Surge Watch is in effect for Ocracoke Inlet, North Carolina to Duck, North Carolina. Tropical Storm Warning is in effect for Altamaha Sound, Georgia to Duck, North Carolina, the Pamlico and Albemarle Sounds. And that's what it's looking like right now, okay, for those areas. Now, it's looking like that a turn toward the east, northeast, and even faster forward speed are expected tomorrow on the forecast track. And the center of Michael will move through eastern Georgia into central South Carolina this morning, then move across portions of central and eastern North Carolina and southeastern Virginia into the Atlantic Ocean by late tonight or early tomorrow morning. Now, the maximum sustained winds are near 50 with higher gusts like I've showed you. Now, some additional weakening is expected today while the center remains over land However, Michael is forecast to intensify as it becomes a post-tropical low over the Atlantic late tonight or early tomorrow. So that means you guys, like I just showed you in the Norfolk area and around Virginia Beach, Virginia, your guys' winds will pick up to show, just like I did on that graph that I put up for you. Your winds will be stronger. Not hurricane force, but higher end tropical storm winds than North Carolina will have. Now, tropical storm force winds extend outward and up to 160 miles, mainly to the southeast of the center. Georgia recently reported a wind gust of 60 miles per hour, and there are several reports of wind gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour in the Augusta area. The barometric pressure is really low, people, 29.03 inches. So watch your barometer, and when you see it really, really low, you know you're in the midst of everything. When it starts rising, you know it's finally leaving you. Storm surge water levels are receding along the Gulf Coast of Florida, along the southeast coast of the United States. The combination of dangerous storm surge and the tide will continue to cause normally dry areas near the coast to be flooded by rising waters moving inland from the shoreline. Now, the water has the potential to reach the following heights, and of course, if it's high tide, it'll be more. Sound side of North Carolina Outer Banks from Ocracoke Inlet to Duck 2 to 4 feet. Wind tropical storm conditions are occurring over portions of eastern and southeastern Georgia and will spread across portions of central and southern South Carolina this morning. Tropical storm conditions are expected to spread northward within the warning area along the southeast U.S. coast beginning this morning through tomorrow. Now, gale to storm force winds are expected over portions of southeastern Virginia, extreme northeastern North Carolina, and the Delmarva Peninsula. Remember I showed you up there? I said you're going to get some stuff. This is as Michael becomes post-tropical off the mid-Atlantic coast late tonight or early tomorrow. Now, so far as rain goes, you can expect 4 to 7 inches from eastern Georgia to the southern mid-Atlantic states, 1 to 3 over the northern mid-Atlantic states, and coastal southern New England areas. Isolated amounts of 9 inches are possible in North Carolina and Virginia. And of course, this could lead to flash floods. Isolated tornadoes are possible today over portions of eastern South Carolina, eastern and central North Carolina, and southeast Virginia. We know we have the swells. Rip current alerts are high everywhere up and down the entire coastline. Please don't go in the water until it's safe. And that's a check of your weather news and tropical update with J7409 this morning on the 11th of October, 2018. Thank you so much for watching. I just thank you for everything you do for me. I love you guys so much. Please, please stay safe. I've been so busy from Florence and then been busy from trying to get right if Michael blows through with more than what we were expecting. Now I've got to do some stuff all over again. But you know what? Everything's cool. I'm happy. Hope you are. And I hope everybody stays safe during the remainder of Michael till Michael gets out of here. Have a good day, a blessed day. Thank you so much for watching. Peace, love, and kindness to each of you. And I'll see you later with the good Lord's will.